All right, everyone, welcome back to the Zach and Bo Show. We did not have a show last week, unfortunately, but we're back in full force this week. Been a lot of crazy things happening in the NFL, and that's what we're mostly going to be here to talk about. But first things first, on a bit of a serious note, the whole Henry Ruggs situation in Nevada, that's just a horrible thing, and we feel so bad for, the lady who was involved, Tina was her name, and that we hope that he is charged to the fullest extent of the law. It doesn't get off easy because he's an NFL player. Again, should never see the football field again. It's just a horrible situation. Never drive drunk. If don't get in a car with someone is drunk. Just completely avoid it. There are other ways to deal with things. You will not regret making the right decision there. So yeah, it's just a horrible situation, and I mean, my heart breaks for the family of her, and then everyone who's affected by this whole situation.
Absolutely. I'm on the same page with everything you said. Like it's sad that, someone's future is, you know, so altered now, because he could have had a bright career,
Mhm.
but, that's not I don't think that's where the focus should be. Like you
Mhm.
mentioned, I mean, the lady lost her life and she was 23 years old,
Mhm.
and now a family never gets to get over that.
Yeah.
So, it's sad because you want to give people second chances or whatever, but stuff like that is just
Mhm.
it's just unacceptable. You have to make better decisions, and yeah, like you said, I mean, hopefully they don't let the NFL status get in the way for actually punishing him like he deserves.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, he's a full-grown adult. He made his own decisions, and it resulted in the loss of another person's life. And like I said, he should not get off easy. But on that sad note, on to another kind of sad note. The We're going to go into the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. I'm a big Packer fan, but I did want to talk about it some because I do think it's ridiculous. And Aaron Rodgers is probably my favorite player of all time. Just based on the eye test, I think he's possibly the most impressive quarterback of all time. Obviously, you can't call him the greatest. I'd argue a sentence with Brady,
Yeah,
but just based on what I see, he's my favorite, one of the best I've ever seen. And this whole vaccination nonsense, like I've heard some people say he wasn't technically lying by saying he was immunized in that interview, but he was being asked about the vaccine. He knew what everyone was going to say. He was obviously misleading people. And look, do I think I mean, am I like super angry about it? Not really. I mean, will I move on and still support the team next week when he comes back? Of course, but it's just a ridiculous situation. Like, what are you doing, Aaron?
yeah. Well, to be honest, I might have kind of a uncommon opinion on this, but I think there should be investigations or talks about potential suspension. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I mean, you're putting, the unvaccinated players they've came out, they've been open about it from day one,
Mhm.
and most unvaccinated players are like, hey, this is my decision. This is what it is, and they're willing to go through these protocols. So if Aaron Rodgers mentions, hey, I'm vaccinated, or trying to beat around the bush and not lie, and then he doesn't follow the same protocols as unvaccinated players, that's not
Mhm.
fair. And I know there's some reports saying, he did do some protocols, but every time he spoke to the media, he's not wearing a mask, and that was like, you have to do that if you're
Mhm.
unvaccinated.
Yeah.
So I think if it's any other player, or like if it's not a star status player, I think they're absolutely open for
Mhm.
suspension. And so while, it's not the principle of him being unvaccinated that bothers me.
Mhm.
It's the fact that, misled everyone. And then if he's not going along with the protocols, I mean, that's a serious deal still. And,
Mhm.
you can't do that, like this. I think that's something that needs to be looked into.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if he's breaking protocols, I mean, there's no excuse. Every NFL player, whether vaccinated or not, came in, they knew the rules, they agreed to it when
Absolutely.
they signed their contracts. So, like I said, if he's breaking the rules, he should be no different than anyone else. I agree. Like I said, I mean, it does disappoint me a little bit that when people with this big a platform, I guess we don't need to get because the unfortunately vaccine debates have gotten unfortunately political, but it does
Mhm.
bother me when someone's got that big of a platform and that big of influence, just obviously ignoring some pretty clear science at this point. Some, just some overall like this things that just really aren't debatable. get vaccinated if you can. It's an important thing to do. It's not a monumental choice in my opinion. It's just the most basic thing you can do to protect yourself and those around you. That's I guess I'll get off my high horse then. But yeah, I mean, he like I said, he clearly lied. I don't care what anyone says, clearly lied to reporters, and it does look like there are some instances of him breaking protocol, and that shouldn't go unpunished, even as a Packer fan. And look, I'm oddly excited for the game on the Sunday. I'm not as nervous because I kind of got nothing to lose, and I want to see how Jordan Love does. So I think it'll still be a fun game. But yeah, if he's breaking protocol, I mean, Aaron, I still love you, but you can't be doing that.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, vaccination ultimately is the person's decision, and so that's not the part that bothers me as much as him intentionally misleading
Yeah.
everyone. And then, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see like how how much did the Green Bay Packers go along with it? Did they know he was unvaccinated and continued to let him break protocol? Hopefully it comes out that like, okay, he went with unvaccinated protocol all the time, couple slip ups, it is what it is. But I think there's also a chance that it could become a bigger issue than
Yeah.
what people are expecting.
So apparently, like Ian Rappaport said that he was following protocols, but they're looking into it. But you're right at least in like the podiums, unless somehow those are outside, which they're not. He was breaking protocol there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just not a good look. And admittedly, I mean, it's been kind of funny. The memes online about it have been hilarious. But this is a fairly serious issue. I mean,
Yeah.
he generally misled the public. And like I said, I mean, you can say it's not our business, but he was welcome to say that at the time in the interview. So
Yeah,
he was welcome to
absolutely.
say it's, yeah. So,
Be upfront about it, like even if people disagree with it, like I think you would have just avoided so
yeah.
much, but
And like
I guess
people
we'll see
say,
what happens.
yeah, they're right. I mean, you can criticize with Kyrie Irving of all you want, but he never lied about it. He's been upfront this whole time about it. So have some other
Yeah.
players. And I mean, I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but hey, they're not lying. They've been upfront with what they're doing this whole time. So,
Yeah.
I'll give them that at least above good old Aaron Rodgers. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you don't know anyone an explanation, but you shouldn't just intentionally mislead the public. So,
Yeah. No, I agree.
anyway, so on to out of the kind of sad and depressing topics, unless you got anything else you'd like to say.
Nope. That let's go.
All right, we can go into the week 8 results. They were a bit rough, I will
Yep.
say. I went 7-8. Bo, you went 6-9. Our
Yep.
overall totals now are I'm at 73 and 43. You're at 76 and 46. And yeah, it just was a crazy week of football. So starting with that Thursday night game with the Packers, I was going insane. Um, I couldn't believe it. I was 100% convinced that they were losing. I was like, yeah, it's over. I was ready to just turn it off. And then, oh man, that last minute interception or last second was just incredible. And it's crazy. The Packers came up with a defensive stop, which never happens. The defense came in clutch for the Packers, which is insane. And then I
Absolutely.
think, yeah, it's just insane. It was just an awesome game.
Yeah, no, it was a really good game. I think you got to see a lot from both sides of the ball for Green Bay. That was really nice to see. I'm surprised that they were able to get it done. Honestly, I predicted Arizona. I know both sides had some injuries and stuff, but um, it was a great game. It was a really good game.
It's crazy. Russell Douglas, he was playing for the Cardinals earlier in the season to get that. And then it's crazy. Devondre Campbell just won NFC Defensive Player of the Month. A Packers player won a defensive award, which is
That's pretty
which is
awesome.
insane. I can't complain. And then going into the rest of week 8, can you tell me like what team surprised you in either both a positive and a negative way?
Yeah, so I mean, the teams that surprised me, obviously, Jets upsetting Bengals was
Mhm.
not, nothing anyone probably predicted. Um, so that was obviously surprising. Pittsburgh showed a little bit of hope. However, I think Cleveland is just having some real struggles. I hated to see Detroit get beat like that by Philadelphia. I was really wanting to see Detroit get their first win. Um, Other than that, the two other games I would really think about is New England picking up another win, and then looking pretty good overall.
Yeah.
The Chargers have a lot of talent, and New England's making a lot of progress. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Mhm.
And then I
Jordan
think
Hire has returned.
New Orleans and Tampa Bay. That was an interesting game.
Mhm.
It's so weird. Like I feel like New Orleans just has Tampa Bay's number in the regular season. I mean,
Yeah.
both times last year they beat them,
Mhm.
and realistically, they were a Jared Cook fumble away from beating them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's really weird. I don't know exactly why, but nobody from the Buccaneers looked outstanding, and really just a good coach game from Sean Payton. Realistically,
Yeah.
coming over, losing Jameis Winston, and
Yeah.
really kind of getting it going.
Although that video of him dancing in the locker room is hilarious.
That was so funny.
Yeah. I gotta say, one team that people aren't bringing up right now, it's because they did win the game by quite a bit in the end, was the Buffalo Bills. It was close with Miami up until the fourth quarter. They did not the defense was good as ever, but that offense looked real flat for about three-quarters of that game. So
Yeah.
that was kind of interesting to see. And obviously the Jets beating the Bengals was insane. I mean, I still think the Bengals are a good team. I do. Like I said, but because the last couple they had that one interception towards the end. It was kind of a weird last couple minutes, but give it to the Jets. They've beaten two of the best teams in the AFC, and those are their only two wins. So maybe they'll. I mean, maybe if they only played good teams, they'd go 17-0. I don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah, Patriots Chargers. I could definitely see the Patriots being an outside playoff contender this year. They're looking pretty good. I mean, I know that's 27-24, but after the first or second quarter, Patriots really took control of that game, so it wasn't quite as close as the score makes it seem.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was overall good. And then yeah, the Saints Buccaneers game. That was a fun game to watch. I'm happy the Saints pulled it out with backup quarterback and everything. And then the last one is the last positive surprise. I know they're playing Jacksonville, but Jacksonville did just get a win a couple weeks ago. It was Seattle with Geno Smith. They won 31-7, which is kind of surprising. They got Russell Wilson back, so they could be kind of a sneaky team going forward, but who knows?
Yeah. I mean, Seattle's always kind of just getting in that area of being a legit team always, in Jacksonville, I know they haven't been good, but I didn't suspect them to just get embarrassed like that. I mean, nothing good from it.
No, not that. And then Cowboys Vikings. The Cowboys beat the Vikings with a backup quarterback. I think the Cowboys are one of the better teams in football. So
Yeah.
yeah. Anything else you got from week 8?
No, I mean, I think that really covers kind of the big things that stuck out.
Yeah. So we'll move on to week 9 here, kind of go down game by game. We'll start tonight's game, the Jets versus the Colts. I mean, the Jets could pull off the upset, and part of me wants to pick them because of last week, but I am still gonna go with the Colts.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Colts as well. Part of me would like to see a Jets win. I like to play around with that, but yeah, the Colts I think are just a better team. Um, I just don't see the Jets having realistic success, like continuing.
And then so when we got Cincinnati, Cleveland, I'm picking Cincinnati despite their loss last week. Cleveland is just a complete mess right now. I mean, they get Nick Chubb back, so that could help them out a bit.
I want to say Cleveland pulls out a surprise, but I think they have a lot of distractions going on right now, and I think the Bengals are just a more for certain team, at least what they look like.
I would agree. And then we got Dallas versus Denver. Pretty obvious, I think, for me, Dallas.
Absolutely.
Then Miami versus Houston. Ironically, the hardest game to pick for me this week because they're both so terrible. I did go with Miami, but you never know with these two teams this year. They're both awful.
So, I was gonna go with Miami as well. Tyrod Taylor being back kind of
Oh yeah, I saw that. He's back.
makes me wanna, say, hey, Houston's gonna pull this out. But I do think Miami's just an overall better team.
Yeah. Then we got New Orleans versus Atlanta. I mean, I could see Atlanta pulling this one out. I was pretty 50-50 on this one as well. Atlanta looked good a few previous weeks, but this last week versus Carolina looked really bad. Especially, I mean, Matt Ryan threw like 2 or 3 picks, and it just didn't look good. I know the Saints are going to have a backup quarterback, and hopefully Trevor Siemian can pull through. I went with the Saints about 51-49. Could be a good game though.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Saints as well. Even with Trevor Siemian, I just think they're overall a better team and better coached team. So
Yeah, I would agree. And then we got Las Vegas versus the New York Giants. Again, I mean, everything going on with Vegas, part of me wants to think that might affect them. But I still got them picked over the Giants personally.
yeah, it's funny. When John Gruden got fired, I assumed that week,
Yeah.
the Raiders would, have a loss, and they looked really good and pulled out a win. So I'm just gonna go with that notion of distractions aren't going to completely ruin them, and I think the Raiders pick up a win against the Giants.
I think so too. New England versus Carolina. I'm going New England. This wasn't very hard. They've looked really impressive the last few weeks.
I'm going to go with New England as well. Carolina's inconsistent right now. It's really hard to know what Carolina's going to play. I think Christian McCaffrey's back, so I think that'll play a huge role. But it'll also be interesting kind of seeing Stephon Gilmore and the Patriots kind of going after
I
each other.
forgot that. That'll be interesting. Then we got Buffalo versus Jacksonville, a game no one's going to watch. Buffalo's going to win by, I wouldn't be
Easily.
surprised if Buffalo won by like 40. Minnesota Baltimore. I thought this might be a good game. I'm going to pick Baltimore. I don't think they're going to be able to contain Lamar Jackson, but you never know. Minnesota keeps it close no matter what. So we'll see what happens.
Minnesota's a weird team because sometimes they play so close with just the most dominant teams, and then other times they just look all over the place. I do think Baltimore's going to pull it out, though.
Yeah. And then we got the Chargers versus Philadelphia. Philadelphia looked really impressive last week against Detroit. I mean, I know it's Detroit, but they still won 44-6. And LA has looked a little lackluster the last couple of weeks, but I think they get it back on track this week and pick up a win versus Philadelphia.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't be super shocked to see the Eagles upset them, but realistically, I don't see. I just don't see any way like they're actually gonna beat the Chargers. I don't know. Just on paper, it doesn't seem like it should be close, but I think it'll be a close game. But Chargers probably.
Okay. And then we got Green Bay versus Kansas City. I'm ride or die on this one. I'm picking Green Bay. Is it a dumb decision? Probably, but I'm doing it. So whatever.
It's tough because Kansas City, it hasn't been what they usually are. They've had, their problems. But I also think, Jordan Love, I don't know how convinced I am with him yet. But like you said, ride or die, realistically, I'm probably always going to pick the Chiefs, even if I know it's a, heavy-handed matchup. But I do think the Chiefs are going to win this one.
Yeah. Like I said, Jordan Love's gonna throw for 6 touchdowns and 500 yards, set all the records. It's gonna be fine.
That's right.
So they got Arizona versus San Francisco. Assuming Kyler Murray is all right, I'm picking Arizona. I don't think it's going to be particularly close. San Francisco's been, in my opinion, the most disappointing team in the NFL this year. Just haven't looked good. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals. So
I'm going to pick the Cardinals as well. But those matchups in that division are always
competitive. Yeah.
So I could see the 49ers upsetting them, but I'll go Cardinals.
And then finally, again, a great game on Sunday Night Football. We got the Titans versus the Rams. I'm picking the Rams, especially with Derrick Henry out, but I still think this is going to be a good game. And I think Tennessee has the roster, maybe not to win, but to compete with the Rams, even without Derrick Henry.
I don't know. I think without Derrick Henry, I think we could see, the game probably decided by, halftime, early third quarter. Yeah. I think the Rams are probably going to run away with
it. I hope not. I'd like the Titans. I'd like Mike Vrabel. But, man, that Derrick Henry loss, that really sucks.
Huge.
sad to see.
Bring
But
back
anyway,
Adrian Peterson, though.
I know maybe he'll go off. Maybe he'll
Yeah.
go back to 2012 form somehow. And then for Monday Night Football, we got Chicago versus Pittsburgh. Teams I don't think are very good, but Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way.
Mm-hmm.
You said I don't think either team is crazy impressive right now.
Yeah.
I'd probably go with the Steelers as well.
Okay. So with that, we can quick get into our power rankings here real quick, and then I think that'll be it. Anything else you got to say about Week 9?
No, I think we're good to segue into the power rankings.
All right. I'll let you go first.
All righty. So number 5, I have Buffalo. Although, like you had mentioned, they looked a little lackluster for a decent portion of the game. So I think there'll be something to look forward going forward. Number 4, Arizona. I think, I don't know. I still think they're a good team, but I do think we're going to start seeing a little more issues going forward. Green Bay is obviously playing really well. 3, as much as I don't love it, I would put Dallas there. Not the biggest Dallas fan, but they're playing really good. Even, getting a win with Cooper Rush or whatever his name is that's impressive as well, because the Vikings, like I said, off and on are a really good team. Number 2, I would put the Rams. I think the Rams could be the overall best team in the NFL and may, be overall the best at the end. But right now, I think they're playing as the number 2 team. The number 1, as much as I hate it, I would say Green Bay. When healthy and everyone's clicking, they look great. As much as Aaron Rodgers is a ding dong, he's still Aaron Rodgers. He's going to get it done. So I think I was really impressed this week. I was really, really impressed, and they're playing at a very high level.
Yeah. All right, so we can get some of this. At number 5, I have the Dallas Cowboys. Like I said, I think they're a good team. I hate it. I hate that they're so good, but like I said, I can't really put them above number 5 because they're the Cowboys. You just can't do it. They're the Cowboys. No. Like I said, I don't trust their defense so much. But on offense, when they get Dak Prescott back, they're going to be real good. At number 4, I have the Buffalo Bills. Again, I think they're right now, the AFC is such a toss-up. They are I think they're the best team in the AFC, but really it could be any number of teams that ends up at the top of the AFC. It's like so much more. I think the NFC is better, right? It's the better league, but the AFC is more competitive. I think, like I said, anyone could win that division or that conference. At number 3, we have the Arizona Cardinals. Again, I'm gonna switch that. I'm gonna keep them at number 2 and put Rams at number 3 because there is that head-to-head matchup, and that's got to mean something. They're really close, the Rams and the Cardinals, but I'm gonna keep the Rams at 3, and then Stafford's playing out his mind. 2 Arizona, and then 1 I will put Green Bay. Sorry if it's biased. I was tempted to say, is there a way I should kick that on the spot because of the Aaron Rodgers situation and see how that affects the team before I say they are the best team in the NFL. But why do that? I'll go ahead and say they're number 1 for now. I might as well enjoy it while I can. And look, if they somehow pull out a win in Arrowhead, I hate to say it, with Jordan Love, I'm just gonna say it, end the season now. They're winning the Super Bowl. It's over. I've warned you. If Jordan Love beats the Chiefs, I will be unbearable. I will be the worst person to be around. I will go insane.
Jordan Love's going to start his Brady-esque reign in the NFL.
Yeah, it's the new Brady Bledsoe. But yeah, so I happily say it. I think the Packers are the best team right now. Will they be the best team after a couple weeks? Who knows? But I'm real excited for what I'm seeing, and the defense is playing a lot better. So yeah, hopefully Packers keep this rolling, and we see what happens with Week 9. I'm real excited. Should be another great week of football. So with that, you got anything else, my wonderful co-host?
I think that's pretty good for the week. We got an exciting week of football coming up, so I'm ready to get into that.
Yeah. That we do, that we do. So that'll leave it. That'll be it for this week. Stay tuned. We'll try to get back on the schedule next week. So be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time.